Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has just hit theaters, the first big movie of summer 2023 that made me very enthusiastic about this summer movie-going season, which is why I am doing my list of my top 5 most anticipated movies of summer 2023. There are so many great-looking movies coming out this summer, from big blockbusters, animation, upcoming films from directors that I admire, or independent movies that are on my radar. I definitely think this has the potential to be a great and awesome summer for movies, and I hope these movies deliver. Now, I'm very excited to hear your picks for your most anticipated in the comments below. Top 10, top 5, or your number 1 pick, let me know in the comments below. And before we get into the top 10 list, I have 9 honorable mentions of movies this summer I'm looking forward to, and here they are. Haunted Mansion, Blue Beetle. For this next honorable mention, it was in my least anticipated movies of the summer. I was skeptical about it, but the more I watched the second trailer for this movie and the more positive reactions I've been hearing about this movie, I am cautiously optimistic for The Flash. Granted, I'm still worried about Ezra Miller and his troubles. The DCU been hit and miss, and this film is going to reset the DCU. And some of the effects in the recent trailer do look a bit unfinished. They kind of do remind me of the Whedon cut of Justice League, to which not a good sign there. But I am curious to see how they're going to adapt the Flashpoint Paradox story. Michael Keaton returning as Batman, Michael Shannon returning as Zod, Supergirl in it. And based on very positive reactions from test screenings and people who saw it at CinemaCon, I am starting to warm up to this movie, and I hope this is one of the better films from the DCEU. Then Pixar's new movie Elemental, Transformers Rise of the Beasts, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And next up we have 2 A24 movies I'm looking forward to. One of them is Past Lives. This is an A24 drama that I've been hearing nothing but fantastic things from people who saw it at Sundance Film Festival, and this has potential to be an Oscar contender. And next up is Talk to Me, an A24 horror movie that's coming out. And what's getting me excited about this? This is the directorial debut of YouTubers Raka Raka. And if you have not seen any of Raka Raka's videos, go watch them. Although their videos are gory, they are just super hilarious, entertaining, and awesome. Huge congrats to Dan and Michael for their directorial debut. And it's also premiered at Sundance, hearing great reactions there. And the trailer looks creepy and terrifying. I can't wait to see Raka Raka's directorial debut, and I hope it's a great one. And final honorable mention, technically my number 6 of the list, and that is Barbie. Now, I know a lot of people are excited about this movie, and they probably have in their top 5 or close to their top 5. And there are personally other movies I'm looking forward to more than Barbie. With the promising first trailer and the second trailer, I think this movie looks very funny and charming. And with Barbie and Ken, these were the roles that Margot Robbie and especially Ryan Gosling were born to play. And I've been hearing from the positive test screenings of this movie, I've heard that Ryan Gosling is an acting standout of Barbie, and I can't wait to see him as Ken. And I just love the look of Barbie Land with the sets and costumes. Looks absolutely fantastic, colorful, and vibrant. And with Greta Gerwig's past record with Lady Bird and Little Women 2019, both very good movies, I do have faith that she'll do a good job with Barbie, and hopefully this will be more than just a product placement cash grab movie. And with those honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the top 5 list. Coming in at number 5 is Wes Anderson's new film, Asteroid City. As an admirer of Wes Anderson, one of my favorite auteurs currently working, I believe that he is an exceptionally stylistic, distinctive, and unparalleled filmmaker. His trademark filmmaking style, stunning symmetrical cinematography, and ensemble of gifted actors make him a standout auteur in the film industry. Whenever he announces a new project, I am immediately filled with anticipation. And now that we have a new trailer for Asteroid City, it looks great. Everything about this trailer automatically lets you know it's a Wes Anderson film. From the aesthetic, shot composition, framing, music choices, and actors he has worked with in the past, and new actors he's working with. And speaking of actors, we have a terrific lineup in this ensemble, and I'm not going to try to list them from memory, so I have them written down in my notes of who is in this movie. Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Liev Schreiber, Steve Carell, Maya Hawke, Matt Dillon, Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Tony Revolori, and Jeff Goldblum, and so many others. This is a huge and stacked cast here. If you're familiar with Wes Anderson's filmography, you may notice Bill Murray is not in this movie, and that was because he was originally going to be a part in this movie. Like usual with Wes Anderson movies, he's like a Wes Anderson staple, you just expect him. But unfortunately, before filming began, Bill Murray sadly tested positive for COVID and had to withdraw from production, and Steve Carell was brought in to replace him. I am going to try to get adjusted to not seeing Bill Murray in a Wes Anderson movie since his directorial debut, Bottle Rocket, but I believe this is a replacement that I could be okay with because I love Steve Carell. I think he's a terrific actor, In movies such as Little Miss Sunshine, Foxcatcher, The Big Short, he has proven that he's more than just Michael Scott from The Office, so I'm really excited to see him in a Wes Anderson movie. The story is set in 1955 at a desert town where parents, students from across the country gather at a stargazing convention disrupted by world-changing events. And this is also going to be playing at the Cannes Film Festival this May. Very excited to hear the reactions there. This looks funny, charming, quirky, and delightful. This looks like another great movie from good old Wes Anderson, and I can't wait for it to go wide in June. Coming in at number 4 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. After being disappointed by Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and was concerned about Harrison Ford's age, I was skeptical about Indiana Jones 5 happening. And another reason this is the first Indiana Jones movie not to be directed by Spielberg, and James Mangold brought in to direct Indiana Jones 5 increased my excitement, but I was cautiously optimistic for a new Indiana Jones movie. And despite his age, I'm still happy to see Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones one last time, and he's not being recast. No matter how hard you try, you just can't replace Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. To me, he'll forever be Indiana Jones. And Han Solo too. And now that 2 trailers are out, they succeeded at getting me excited for one final Indiana Jones adventure. With his track record with Walk the Line, 3:10 to Yuma, The Wolverine, which I find underrated and one of the best comic book movies of the 2010s decade, Logan, and the Best Picture nominee Ford v Ferrari, I am confident that James Mangold will do an excellent job behind the camera. I do hope that he can still try to capture the Spielberg magic of the original trilogy while also doing his own thing at the same time. The action looks exciting, the effects look good, and even the de-aging effects on Harrison Ford in the trailer, that looks amazing. And speaking of which, I am happy to see Harrison Ford back in full swing as Indiana Jones. Excited to see Mads Mikkelsen as the villain here, and John Williams is back composing the musical score. I heard he's composed plenty of new themes for The Dial of Destiny, can't wait to hear his musical score here. With the right ingredients of getting me excited for this new Indiana Jones movie, I do hope it's everything an Indiana Jones film should be, an improvement over the 4th film, to which honestly, I don't hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I just find it disappointing when you compare it to the first 3 movies. One aspect of filming that did get me excited is that James Mangold did prioritize using practical effects, shooting on location and using practical effects, like in the first 3 movies, which is great to hear. And I do hope it's a good blend of practical and CGI effects, because the effects in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull don't look that very good for a movie that came out in 2008. They have aged poorly. And like Asteroid City, this film is also premiering at Cannes Film Festival this May, and I'm very excited to hear the reactions there. And that reminds me, there was one blockbuster sequel that premiered at Cannes last year, and that being Top Gun Maverick. That was a huge critically acclaimed movie and a box office success. I do believe this will also be a hit at the box office, but I'm also very curious to hear the reactions. If it's good or if it's great, we'll see what the reactions say there. But I also believe that's a good sign that Lucasfilm has a lot of confidence in the film. Plus, James Mangold is directing 2 future blockbusters after this. He's working with Lucasfilm again. After this, he's going to be directing a Star Wars movie with Don Jedi, and now was confirmed at Star Wars Celebration this year. I can't wait to see how James Mangold does with a Star Wars movie after this. I took that as a sign that they impressed with him what he's doing with Indiana Jones, and we'll give you a Star Wars movie. And he's also going to be directing Swamp Thing for James Gunn's DC Universe. I can't wait to see what he does with that. So I'm excited to see James Mangold get more directing opportunities after this, because I really think he is a talented director in different genres. Music biopics, westerns, comic book movies, and a sports drama too, and now an Indiana Jones action-adventure movie. With everything I've seen so far, I do believe this is in good hands. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will be hitting theaters on June 30th, and I hope it doesn't disappoint me. Coming in at number 3 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Since the release of Mission Impossible 3, this series has soared to be one of the most consistent, reliable, and exhilarating action franchises we have currently. Successfully delivering exceptional practical action scenes, jaw-dropping stunt work, riveting stories, actors on the top of their game, and superb action filmmaking. And even with only a teaser trailer so far for this newest installment, it appears that pattern will not be broken here. After the considerable success of last year's Top Gun Maverick with critics and audiences, box office, and award season, Tom Cruise has still not lost his touch at being a magnetic movie star. His charisma, energy, dedication to his own stunts, commitment to his craft, work ethics, and always wanting the audience to be entertained and invested are all the reasons why he's so respected and admirable, proving why he's my favorite action star working today. Not only Cruise back on his A game, the returning players of Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, and Rebecca Ferguson, and 2 MCU actresses joining this film, Haley Atwell and Pom Clementine. I'm intrigued to see how the story is going to be a back-to-back sequel with part 2 coming out next year. So I'm curious to see how the ending and when part 2 comes out to justify that 2-part story. I probably predict it's going to be a cliffhanger ending. The action and stunts so far in the teaser look outstanding from the different variety and combat, and there's going to be a train sequence, a motorcycle scene. And that last stunt where Tom Cruise drives a motorcycle off a cliff, like, this man is 60 years old and he's still doing his own stunts. Just, oh my god, the things he does to entertain us. And ever since Rogue Nation, Christopher McQuarrie is still proving to be an excellent action filmmaker. And he did an incredible job with Fallout, and I'm just so excited to see what he has in store for Dead Reckoning. And I'm also liking the more serious and darker tone than Fallout. Now, we've only had one teaser trailer so far that premiered in front of Top Gun Maverick, and I have been hearing we are going to get a new trailer soon, and I hope that gets me as equally pumped. And this franchise has been having a great track record so far. 1 was a good start to the franchise, 2 definitely the weakest one, 3 was really good, 4 was amazing, 5 was great, and 6 was incredible and definitely the best one. Curious to see how they're going to top Fallout, because the stunts and action in Fallout were just jaw-dropping and just phenomenal. So hyped for Mission Impossible 7 this July, and I hope it's awesome. Coming in at number 2, we are 2 weeks away from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is hands down my most anticipated animated movie of the summer, following Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was one of the most creative and groundbreaking animated films I have ever seen. Mission Impossible Fallout was my favorite film of 2018 until Spider-Verse topped it for me after multiple rewatches and elaboration. I was excited for the amount of potential for a sequel and a continuation. Based on what I've seen from the trailers, this looks incredible and a worthy sequel. The animation continues to be exceptional, reaching new heights. And excited to see this continuation of the Spider-Verse with multiple Spider-Men. Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and Peter B. Parker are back. We got new additions with Spider-Woman and Spider-Man 2099, voiced by Oscar Isaac, who looks very interesting here. And something I have heard recently, this is now the longest American animated film, and it's going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long, to which, oh my god, I did not expect that long of a runtime. I probably predict there's going to be a lot that's going to happen here and Across the Spider-Verse, so I could see why they're going with a long runtime here. And like Dead Reckoning, this is also going to be a back-to-back sequel with Beyond the Spider-Verse next year. So I am highly anticipating of what's going to happen here to justify a 2-part story. And I also imagine this is also going to have a cliffhanger ending, so I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here. And knowing that the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the best TV shows ever, and a co-director of Soul, my favorite film of 2020, are involved is equally getting me pumped. I predict this sequel is certainly going to deliver. From the astonishing animation, characters, humor, action, excitement, and intrigue, I hope Across the Spider-Verse is an amazing sequel that is worth the wait. I'm also very curious this year, knowing that Hayao Miyazaki is going to make one more movie, How Do You Live? And knowing that Hayao Miyazaki is probably the greatest animation director ever, I have a feeling that's going to give Spider-Verse a run for its money for the best animated film of 2023. But nevertheless, I am hyped for Spider-Verse. Just 2 weeks away, can't freaking wait. And my number 1 most anticipated film of the summer is Oppenheimer from the one and only Christopher Nolan. Earlier when I mentioned my favorite auteurs currently working, that whenever they announce a new project immediately fills me with anticipation, Christopher Nolan is one of them, and he might be my favorite director. I adore his commitment to his craftsmanship and him delivering spectacle. He's bold, creative, daring, and imaginative. I was enthusiastic when I heard that Christopher Nolan is directing another World War II movie after Dunkirk, my favorite film of 2017. But this is going to be a different World War II movie compared to Dunkirk. Dunkirk was a tension-filled survival war movie. Oppenheimer is going to be something different than what he's done before. It's going to be a character study biopic movie on a real-life person. It's always exciting to see Christopher Nolan do things differently and what he's going to bring to the table to execute them. Cillian Murphy has been a frequent collaborator in Christopher Nolan movies. He's been appearing in supporting roles like Scarecrow in Batman Begins, Inception, and Dunkirk. And what is particularly exciting about their collaboration this time, Cillian Murphy gets to be the lead, front and center. Based on how often they work together, I am positive that Christopher Nolan will utilize Cillian Murphy's talents to his best, because I always found him to be a great and underrated actor. So I'm really excited to see him get a lead role in a Christopher Nolan movie he can truly shine in. Plus, in the trailers, with Murphy nailing the voice and mannerisms of the real-life person and his facial expressions, where you can see the fear in his eyes. And when the reviews for this movie come out, I wouldn't be surprised if I hear this could be Cillian Murphy's career best performance, or the possibility of him joining the conversation for his first Oscar nomination for Best Actor. He has been long overdue for an Oscar nomination, and I believe this could be it. A terrific leading role he can shine in, playing a real-life person, working a director he has worked with in the past. Not only Cillian Murphy at the helm, but you got a fantastic and stacked lineup of actors here. You got Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Kenneth Branagh, Benny Safdie, Rami Malek, and many others. And I believe that lineup of gifted actors proves how much Nolan is respected in the film industry. And that second trailer that came out recently looks incredible, and that gave me faith that this could be one of Nolan's very best films. It accomplished fantastic results of selling the urgency and tension of the Trinity test. The cinematography looks terrific. And I believe this is the same director of photography who has worked with Nolan before since Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet. And I think he also shot Nope last year, another incredible looking movie. And I'm also excited to hear that certain parts of this movie were shot in black and white. And also exciting, this is the first IMAX film to use black and white digital photography. And Ludwig Göransson is working with Christopher Nolan again to compose the musical score. Very excited that he's composing again after Tenet had such a riveting musical score that I felt like was snubbed for Best Original Score nominations. Ludwig Göransson is proving to be a phenomenal composer, and I can't wait to hear his score here. And Nolan's committed use to using practical effects is still integral here. As I heard, he recreated a nuclear weapon detonation without using any CGI. That's just absolutely jaw-dropping, and I bet that's going to be incredible to see on the big screen. Just, oh my god. And I heard that explosion was shot in a rotary prism camera used to capturing real nuclear explosions. With the two fantastic trailers, I 100% believe this is going to be a riveting and engaging biopic film. I have been hearing this film could be 3 hours long, topping Interstellar, which was 2 hours and 49 minutes for Christopher Nolan's longest film to date. And I feel like that 3-hour runtime could be justified. And one, I mentioned that this film has a stacked cast here. I'm also hearing that this film is going to cover different aspects of Oppenheimer's life before the Trinity test. This is the movie I am highly anticipating this summer, and I believe has potential to be an Oscar contender. And I'm curious to see if this movie does indeed get great reviews and has that Oscar hype. We'll see if this movie could get that same level of love as Dunkirk did. For Best Picture, Best Director, maybe it could get into Screenplay. Dunkirk didn't, but I believe this movie has the potential to get into Screenplay. And other technical categories I believe this film has a shot in. I am just so hyped for Oppenheimer, and I hope it's another fantastic film from Christopher Nolan. And those are my picks for my most anticipated movies of summer 2023. And again, I believe this has the potential to be an awesome summer for movies, and I hope these movies live up to the hype. And I'm excited to hear your picks for your most anticipated movies of the summer. Top 10, top 5, or your number one pick? Let me know in the comments below. Did you enjoy this top 5 list and want to see more videos like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.